What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we've been seeing a lot of different studio acquisitions happen, mostly from Microsoft and Sony, but Nintendo has done a few. However, yesterday, we had a bit of a surprising announcement from Sony as they announced their latest acquisition that's a bit different than how they usually handle things. We'll go over that here today. Also, we had a massive game sale go live for both the Switch and the PlayStation, and it looks like we have another big game event to look forward to here ahead of E3. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with Ghostwire Tokyo. It's out this Friday, but reviews did go live yesterday, which means we got the all-important Metacritic score. We can see that here, sitting currently at 75. It started a bit lower in like the 71 or 72 range, but has slowly kind of averaged its way up. This is on 92 critic reviews. If we look at the split currently, sitting at 58 positive and 33 mixed with 1 negative. And looking through these different reviews as well as checking out some of the video reviews on YouTube now, I would say that the strength of this game is definitely the environment itself in Japan, Tokyo, like kind of just traversing that city. It looks really cool. I also like what we're seeing with some of the different enemies and the animations for the hand movements and gestures you're doing as you are doing different things in combat. It's pretty cool. However, some of the low points in the game that's been described by many people in these different reviews is the combat itself is kind of one-dimensional. The side quests aren't very good, and the story, while it does pull you along, doesn't really have that massive aha moment with like the big bad boss or anything there. But you know what? I'm still liking what I'm seeing here enough to pick it up this Friday, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it a bit more on the podcast. Also, we had an announcement of a game that's been a PlayStation console exclusive since the PS5 came out. Now going to the Xbox, we can see the trailer here, and it is for Godfall Ultimate Edition, and the crowd goes mild. This is coming out April 7th, so hey, not too long, 3 weeks or so it'll be out. They say this is like an ultimate package, has Godfall, the base game, Fire and Darkness expansion, and the Ascended. And I see Godfall here and there. I just have never had a pull to try it out even. And I know they did it in PlayStation Plus, but it was weird because they basically skipped the majority of the game and just put you at the end game, I guess, because in their mind, it's like, this is the fun part. Well, wouldn't like the whole game be the fun part? This is the Ultimate Edition, though, going to the Xbox, and I'm surprised it wasn't just getting dropped in the Game Pass, but I don't know. For some reason, this game in particular has kind of avoided the, hey, let's get thrown in the PlayStation Plus. Let's get thrown into Game Pass. It seems like that would be a good idea for a game that is basically a live service, right? You'd want that concurrent player count to stay high, so I wouldn't be shocked if in a month or two we do see it go into Game Pass, but at least for now, look out for this one April 7th. Oh, and ever since EA mentioned that they are working on a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, I've been very excited to finally see what's next for that series. Well, it looks like we may be seeing that ahead of E3. This, according to Jeff Grubb over on his channel, Jeff Grubb's Games Mess, where he mentions that the game could, or at least according to him, 100% will be shown during the Star Wars Celebration, and double checking the dates, that'd be sometime between May 26th and 29th, which we've seen Jedi Fallen Order showcased at the Star Wars Celebration event in a previous year. So it wouldn't surprise me if they decided to show it off during this celebration ahead of E3, which we know EA is not going to be holding one of their EA Play Live events. So sure, it makes complete sense to me, and that's kind of what I'm expecting now, is to see what's next in the series later on in May. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Sony's latest acquisition for PlayStation Studios, that being Haven Studios, and I did not expect this. See, this studio was announced and basically formed about a year ago. Fast forward now to March 2022, and Sony's announcing that they're acquiring them without Haven Studios presenting any kind of game at all. We know they're working on one right now with Sony, previously in like a second party kind of setup, but now they're just gonna be part of PlayStation Studios. This was posted up over on PlayStation blog from Herman Holst saying, "Today I'm delighted to announce that Haven Studios is officially joining PlayStation Studios. We began working with Jade and her team in early 2021 when they were on the brink of announcing the formation of Haven Studios. From their first pitch, we were inspired by Haven's vision for creating a modern multiplayer experience experience that brings gamers together in positive and meaningful ways. We were confident in their creative and technical expertise to deliver on such an ambitious project, and we're thrilled to invest in their journey developing a new original IP for PlayStation. Now, along with this blog post, there was an interview with Herman Hulst that went up over at gamesindustry.biz, giving us a bit more insight into why they made this acquisition, where he says we could have just carried on in the capacity of them being an external development partner, but what Haven has created is so exciting for us, there was just a desire to deepen that relationship. We have been very impressed with how Haven is coming together. It's just easier for us to invest in the team and game more deeply this way. It is testament to the fact we've been very impressed with the progress that Haven has made. They're actually exceeding a lot of the plans, including in terms of time, which very rarely happens in game development, let me tell you. So we thought, let's invest deeply and do this properly. So I guess whatever's been shown from Jade Raymond and Haven Studios has just absolutely blown away Sony and PlayStation Studios. They're like, hey, let's bring them in. That way we can give them like the entire scope of our resources here. And yeah, that means they could collaborate with some of the other studios there at PlayStation, which we have seen before, where you'll have like Naughty Dog, Guerrilla, and others kind of help each other out if they need it. But we know Sony has this big push right now for live services. We also know that they have acquired Bungie, who has a pretty large workforce of over 800 developers, and it sounds like Haven Studios, yes, is working on their own live service game with Sony. So in their mind, rather than go halfway with this thing, let's bring in Haven Studios because they have a very good idea and concept here, and maybe they can pull from Bungie, who has a lot of experience getting things set up for live services. I mean, that's like the best I can make of this, because this is very odd for Sony. Typically, take Housemarque, for example. They'll work on a couple of titles with Sony, like we saw Returnal, and if everything goes well there, they'll then bring them in. Sometimes it takes like decades even before they're like, all right, we're good to go, let's do it. Like Insomniac, right? So that's why this one caught me off guard a bit. The studio forms a year ago, and now they're buying them before any kind of game has even been shown. So whatever was pitched to them and whatever progress they've made really must have impressed them. We don't necessarily know how much they purchased Haven Studios for, so maybe in Sony's mind, if we get ahead of this because they really anticipate this being a big time release, I mean, who knows, maybe they have like the next Destiny on their hands there and they're like, well, let's get them now for much less than we'd have to, down the road. And that, of course, if other companies come in and try to court them and acquire them, let's just get this done. So now I'm just curious what Haven Studios is working on. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty unique based on what they've said. Very brief descriptions of this. So now the pressure's on. What was so interesting to Sony that they had to get this all locked up a year after the studio was formed? I guess we'll wait and see on this one. Next up, let's talk about a big announcement from CD Projekt when it comes to the Witcher series, as it looks like there is a new Witcher game in development. As soon as they posted this up on Twitter, their website just crashed. Like, I couldn't go there and check out the announcement and the press release, and they had to screenshot it and then post it up on Twitter, which we can see here. This from the Witcher game Twitter handle saying, we're happy to announce that the next installment in the Witcher series of video games is currently in development, kicking off a new saga for the franchise. I am very curious to see where they take this when it comes to the plot, the world that they're going to build out and all of this. Maybe this is just like a whole new series just with the Witcher name. Again, a lot of possibilities here because they didn't give us much information other than we can see the nice little title card there. They say this is an exciting moment as we're moving from Red Engine to Unreal Engine 5, beginning a multi-year strategic partnership with Epic Games. It covers not only licensing, but technical development of Unreal Engine 5, as well as potential future versions of Unreal Engine where relevant. We'll closely collaborate with Epic Games developers, with the primary goal being to help tailor the engine for open world experiences. This is an interesting partnership. Now, Red Engine's been used basically for everything going back to Witcher 2, which I think before that they were on the Aurora engine, but Witcher 3 was on Red Engine 3, Cyberpunk 2077 is on Red Engine 4, and they have done things like ray tracing and all of that. And it has gotten better, but let's face it, Cyberpunk 2077 didn't launch in the best state. There were a lot of issues, bugs, glitches. I don't necessarily know if that's the reason, though, that they are moving to Unreal Engine 5? There could be a few reasons here. One, it sounds like they're going to have quite a bit of help from Epic Games to build out this open world, this new Witcher game. And I mean, that's going to be really cool to see. But also, I assume the speed of development, as it sounds like with Cyberpunk 2077, according to a lot of anonymous interviews with CD Projekt Red developers, they had to do a lot of work for Red Engine 4 just to get Cyberpunk 2077 to the state that they shipped it in. Now, this is very clearly an early announcement. Like, I'm thinking this might be like 3 years off still, and they just showed us like the title card. I think this is more about them making that partnership and then announcing it with Epic Games, really coming in here with Unreal Engine 5, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with there at CD Projekt Red with Unreal Engine 5 and the Witcher series. So something to look forward to here, but it's going to be a little while. Next up, let's talk about some massive sales that are currently going on right now for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation. I did go through and pick out 15 titles for each one, but there are like hundreds of games on sale. We'll scroll through some of the different pages here, starting with the Switch, Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2. They're $10. BioShock Collection at $20. Blossom Tales, which is an awesome game, especially if you like the older Zelda-style top-down isometric. That's $5. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 at $8. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. Again, awesome title there. Certainly hits the retro the nostalgia bone there if you like those 2D difficult games. $20. GTA Trilogy, if you've just been waiting to finally get this game or this collection, and they have been working to fix it, it's $40 now, so it's at least been marked down somewhat. Lego City Undercover, awesome game at $6. Metro Redux or Last Light, they're $7.50 each. Mortal Kombat 11 at $10. Neo The World Ends With You at $30. Okami HD, if you don't have this yet, I mean, come on, $10, absolutely worth it. Starlink Battle for Atlas at $12. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection at $12. XCOM 2 Collection at $5. And if you've ever been curious about the Ys games, Ys Origin is an awesome pickup. That one's $8. Now, looking through the dates that they have set up on that Switch deals page, looks like most of the sales are going to be ending March 27th. Some of them will be ongoing into April, though, so make sure you check out that deals page that I'll link down below just to make sure you don't miss out on any of these. And then moving over to PlayStation, this one was a bit more straightforward. This deal will be ending March 30th, starting with Ace Combat 7, that's the deluxe edition, at $13, A Plague Tale Innocence at $10, Castlevania Advanced Collection, awesome collection by the way, this one at $15, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, that's on the PS5 at $20, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, again on the PS5 at $40, Guilty Gear Strive at $39, It Takes Two at $16, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, a fantastic collection of the Mass Effect games, $24, Resident Evil Raccoon City Edition, I wanted to bring this up because it's Resident Evil 2 and 3 combined at $24. If you don't have them, this is a good bundle to pick up since we know they're going to be doing like free upgrades for the digital versions of the game to like the PS5 and all of that, so a good one there. Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, which if you've never played Rise of the Tomb Raider, awesome title, $6. Sakura Wars at $18. Shenmue 1 and 2, that collection at $6. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz at $12. Valkyria Chronicles, that's the remaster, and 4, it's a bundle, at $14. And if you've ever wanted to get into the Yakuza series, the Origins bundle that has 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2 is out right now at $17.50. But like I said, there are hundreds of titles on sale for PlayStation and Switch right now, so make sure you leave some suggestions down below for any of the really good pickups. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about a big event that is reportedly being set up ahead of E3, and I feel like we're going to hear more and more about this, obviously, as we get closer to the summer, but I still think a lot of the larger publishers are going to opt to kind of do their own thing. Again, we hear EA is going to opt out of it, and they're going to look towards just doing announcements, maybe like Star Wars Celebration for Jedi Fallen Order sequel, but what about Ubisoft? Because well, they've introduced Ubisoft Forward, which is sort of their own overall presentation that they can just put together and stream to us. Well, it looks like we could be seeing one here kind of soon. We can see this posted up, this over on Xfire from Tom Henderson saying exclusive Ubisoft planning massive game showcase details and release dates. Say the latest information on nearly 20 upcoming games from Ubisoft. They go on to say, according to several sources with direct knowledge of Ubisoft's plan, we can report that a big games showcase event from the French publisher has been in the works for some time to avoid game announcements being drowned out by the competition. The event was meant to go ahead before this year's rumored E3. However, recent world events seemingly put those plans on hold, that referencing the ongoing situation between Ukraine and Russia. Now, they do have a list of games here that they really go in depth for each title, so make sure you check the page out if you want a bit more about each one of these. But like Skull and Bones, we've heard that they've rebooted that thing. It's multiplayer focused now, and I mean, we'll see with that one. But like Beyond Good and Evil 2, I have zero confidence in Beyond Good and Evil 2. I wouldn't be shocked if that just quietly went away. And then Splinter Cell Remake, I mean, when they announced it, they basically said, hey, we're hiring for this project, so I don't think we're going to see that one at all. Maybe Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope and they try to put a release date on it. That'd be kind of cool, especially since we're expecting it for 2022. A lot of talk possibly about that getting pushed to 2023. The one that I'm really focusing in on right now, though, is Prince of Persia Sands of Time Remake. When they first showed it, didn't go over that well. There were clearly some issues there when it came to the visuals, some of the animations, all of that, but I really wanted Sands of Time Remake to be good, and I'm hoping that they've taken this time to really polish and I'll say fix up the game a bit, but I'm hoping that means that if they are ready to show it, that it could potentially be coming out later this year, but it seemed like they were going to have to spend quite a bit of time working on that title. So, I mean, Ubisoft Forward most likely being slated, I'm going to say end of April, maybe sometime in May, just again, ahead of E3, as I think that's going to be the theme. A lot of larger publishers want to do their own show on their own time rather than try to fit into this box that E3 is going to attempt to set up. I feel like it's going to be a very discombobulated show that might just be light on games, at least compared to previous E3s. I think when they get back to where we can have these E3 events in person, things will be more normalized then, and hopefully that's next year in 2023. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're going to take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, are you picking up Ghostwire Tokyo this weekend? Well, 5% said yes, getting it ASAP. 33% said I'll wait for a sale down the road, which you might as well just wait if you're unsure on the title, because, I mean, I could see Ghostwire Tokyo being a game that we'll say by the holidays, like later on this year, could be half off, right? And then 62% just said, no, I'm not interested in it, which I don't even think they did the best job marketing it. They had that state of play, but up until that point, we really didn't know what the game was. So, I mean, those reviews really would have had to have sell you on this game, and there were quite a few of them that were like, hey, it looks cool, but it doesn't play the best, and if a game has like poor or average gameplay and it doesn't really stand out necessarily, it's going to be something that people will just kind of wait on. And I think that's what we're going to see with Ghostwire Tokyo. Is it's going to be one of those titles that people look towards being like a $25 or $30 title down the road with one of these PlayStation sales. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from Kaiju saying, Square says that they're going to continue development on Babylon Falls. I'm pretty sure EA said the same thing about Anthem. Anthem was interesting because EA did dump a ton of money into that with BioWare. It had BioWare's name attached to it, of course, but like the game was just very expensive and they wanted it to work so badly. It just didn't. And they did leave a small support team on it trying to like add content and fix the game. But we got to a point where they just left Christmas lights up for one of their celebrations, their themed celebrations they did. And it was still up in like March or April or something because people just forgot about it. So that's kind of where I am with Babylon's Fall. It seems that Square probably has a contract with Platinum running at least 3 seasons. That's why 2 is already done and season 3 is starting up. But after that, if no one's really playing it and it's kind of just forgotten about, I feel like we're in that same situation. It just quietly phases out until they eventually turn the servers off, and then we realize it like months later because no one was playing it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here. Today was the big Switch and PlayStation sale. Of course, leave some recommendations down below. And then what about Haven Studios being acquired by PlayStation? Did it surprise you that they already went to acquire them after about a year? And then what about this new Witcher title on Unreal Engine 5? What do you think that means for this game going forward? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.